Good morning. Today I have the pleasure to introduce the speaker, William Taylor, better known as Coach Primus and I. He has been with Chick-fil-A for over 12 years in various capacities, starting as a team member and most recently as a owner slash operator of Chick-fil-A at Frederick Boulevard in Portsmouth, Virginia. With passion for training, equipping, and inspiring the next generation, Will, lovingly known as coach to his team, prides himself on fostering a restaurant environment where team members and guests feel restored. As operator of Chick-fil-A at Frederick Boulevard, Portsmouth, Virginia, Will has helped to oversee people's growth, going from 60 employees, to over 120, and sales growth from 6.8 million in sales in 2020 to over 8 million in annual revenue in 2021. And I believe as of right now we're at close to 10 million, 11 million. As a result of his leadership and the investment in his team, of his leadership team at Chick-fil-A at Frederick Boulevard, he earned Chick-fil-A's highest sales award, Symbol of Success, in 2021. Will is proud to call Portsmouth his home and is looking forward to continuing fostering relationships in and outside of the restaurant. Thank you.
So after our sermonic hymn, we'll hear no other voice than William Coach Taylor, the owner and operator of Chick-fil-A, as well as the CEO of Taylor Made LLC.
All the days of my life, y'all sing it one time. Oh, say Jesus Christ. We worship you, God. We magnify your name. We glorify your name. You're worthy of the glory, and you're worthy of the honor.
morning. First of all, it's an honor to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. Second of all, wow. Wow. Paige just told me that when she was younger, the young lady that was just singing was quiet. I don't believe that. Wow. And I didn't know Reverend Paige could sing like that either. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, it's an honor to be here today. My name is William Taylor. They call me Coach at my restaurant for several reasons. One, I like sports. My football team is the Eagles. Any Eagles fans? There we go. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm at home. I'm at home. I'm at home now. Go Bird, right? Okay, okay. Sorry, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. And then secondly, a lot of my team members are newer team members. They're new to the job force. So the term boss can sometimes be a little intimidating. But everybody knows what a coach is like, or typically knows what a coach is like. So I changed my title to hopefully let them understand that I'm here to help them and not to berate them or lord over them, but just to help them become a better version of themselves. And so I go by coach, and I coach my son's basketball team. I do like basketball as well, and other sports. And so I use a lot of sports analogies. I won't do that today though. If I did, it'll be about the Eagles. Okay. Uh, uh, but I want to say thank you, Pastor Page, for inviting me to come and share some thoughts to you today about legacy and the role that legacy plays in the family, especially in the believer's household, the Christian church. Um, and also, big thank you to Deaconess Evelina Carter. She is so hospitable. She got the Chick-fil-A hospitality. You hear me? Chick-fil-A hospitality right there. I said, oh Lord, I'm gonna have to hire her. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Um, and I can't go any further without giving another shout out to two of my very own. Hannah and Primus. Primus Jr. over there, Hannah. Give him a hand. Uh, I gladly sometimes employ them. I'm joking. No, I really do appreciate them and employ them. Um, at the Chick-fil-A at Frederick Boulevard, as Hannah spoke about earlier. Um, Hannah, you know how I like to talk, so I'm gonna need you to be my timekeeper, okay? So just wave your hand like this if I'm going over too long. I'll be able to see it in my peripheral. Hannah's one of our trainers now. She started out as a team member and was able to be promoted to one of my lead trainers at the restaurant. So any new team members, I just usher them her way, and she takes really good care of them. She's also one of our scholarship recipients. Chick-fil-A gives out a scholarship annually, and she's been able to receive funds from the Chick-fil-A scholarship. So really proud of her. Proud of Primus as well, and looking forward to his development and hopefully joining the trainer role soon. Don't look down. I like giving him a hard time. It's fun. Before I jump in the word today, we're going to be also in First Chronicles, verse 20 or chapter 28. So if you want to prepare and get there ahead of time, you can. Um, I'm the oldest of four. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, I wasn't going to read that yet. Oh, my bad. When I read it, I'm sorry, I'm not used to the protocol here. I apologize. When I do read it though, I will let you. I will give you another opportunity to stand and read with me. Okay. All right. I'm so sorry. Um, I'm the oldest of four, raised in Greenville, North Carolina. My dad worked at Procter and Gamble for over 20 years. And during that time frame, he opened up a Christian bookstore called A Taste of Heaven, and to make a little extra income for the family. And that's probably where I got my entrepreneurial spirit from. And that is legacy right there. I used to work in there after school and on weekends and selling Bibles, books, and CDs. Anybody know what a CD is today? Yeah. Yeah, some of y'all don't remember that, or some of y'all don't even know what it is because we don't even have them anymore. Just Google it. You'll see what it is. Um, Well, yeah, we were selling those, and that was my introduction a little bit to the faith. My mom stayed at home for a season before going back to work in the administrative assistant role at several schools in the East Carolina University system. Um, and she's also was our worship leader as well at church. And so music and Christian and Jesus was a big factor in my family growing up, um, and that's legacy. I went to North Carolina Central University, so I'm an Eagle once again. I studied business, and that's where I leaned further into the idea of entrepreneurship as a career. I was at a church service on Sunday, and I clearly heard the Lord tell me that ministry would be my business and business would be my ministry. Um, and that was when it kind of set me on a trajectory of eventually joining Chick-fil-A in 2009, and I've been with them ever since. I've been with my wife for 19 years, married for 15. Yeah, amen to that. She wasn't able to join us today, but we have three beautiful kids, 10, 2, and a 1-year-old. So life is full. I like it's full, very very full. My plate is full. Uh, my wife, her name is Erica. She's worked with me at the restaurant for about 11 years, and now she's launching her own business, and I'm really, really, really proud of her. Um, and so when Pastor Page asked me, or Reverend Page asked me to talk about legacy, I thought, man, this is very interesting because it's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Now I'm still fairly young, but I still have a lot to learn, a lot to learn. So I may be asking y'all a little bit of advice, especially with my 2-year-old daughter, Evelyn, because she is giving me a run for my money. But the way you talk about Hannah, though, I'm excited. I, I feel the same way about her too, but she give me a run for my money, though. Oh my gosh. Um, but I turned 40 this year, y'all. I turned 40 this year. Yeah. And it's amazing how much things have changed without even trying. I tell you, I went from having a natural 6-pack and high metabolism to my metabolism going on vacation. I can't find it nowhere. I can't find it nowhere. I went to uh, I went to having conversations with my knees and back in the morning. And like I said, look, we're gonna run 3 miles today. I need your full cooperation. You hear me? I used to be able to just run in the morning, just go for a run and be good. Now I got to have a whole conversation with my knees and my back. This is crazy. And speaking of I used to, I say that a lot now. I used to. I used to be able to whoop people on the basketball court. I can't now. I say all the time, 30 years or 10 years ago when I was 30, I tell you one thing, I'll cross you up, boy. I'll cross you up. But no, I can't do that anymore. But the biggest shift was I used to dream about $1 million empire, having houses and cars and things of that nature. And even though I mean, I just turned 40, but the transition into 40, I began to simply reflect and pray for grace to reach my capacity while I'm here on earth, and to be grateful for where I am, even if my current situation is my capacity. And I pray that my kids will come to the knowledge of who God is and come to serve Him all of their life. That's legacy. I used to think legacy had to be something physical that you pass down, and I've now come to believe that more importantly, it's the relationships primarily with God that matters the most. Now, I love reading about empires and studying about dynasties and things of that nature. Um, and the ones that are thriving and the ones that are withered away, like the Vanderbilts and the Biltmores and things of that nature. But there are some that are working and are thriving really, really well, like the Cathy family, the family that I am partners with in my Chick-fil-A business. They are a family that owns that they're the founders of Chick-fil-A, based out of Atlanta, and I've had a front row seat to their generational legacy in the things that I do on a daily basis. I've been able to not only be in meetings with them as they're planning, but I've been able to have actual private conversations with the CEO, who is now the third generation Kathy family member. Chick-fil-A was started by Truett Kathy, which is the first generation. His son Dan took over, and he's the second generation. Now Dan's son Andrew is the third generation, and they are preparing for the fourth generation right now, actually. But here's the thing: only 30% of family businesses and organizations make it to generation two. Only 30%. It drops even further to only 13% makes it of family businesses and organizations make it to generation three, and only 3% make it to generation four. I can't speak for other families in the 3%, but I can tell you why I think the Kathy family has made it this far. The legacy of knowing God. I've been in conversations, they know God. They know God. Our corporate purpose with Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that's been entrusted to us, and to have a positive influence on all who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. You can't glorify a God you haven't been introduced to. They've been introduced to, and we as operators have an opportunity to introduce as well in what we do and what we say and how we interact with our guests and our team members on a daily basis. Now, from a biblical standpoint, I am going to read 1 Chronicles 28, 2 through 10, if you'd like to stand with me and read alongside. Now, in 1 Chronicles 28, 2 through 10, King David rose to his feet and said, "Listen to me, my fellow Israelites, my people. I had it in my heart to build a house as a place of rest for the ark of the covenant of the Lord, for the footstool of our God, and I made plans to build it. But God said to me, 'You are not to build a house for my name, because you are a warrior and have shed blood.' Yet the Lord, the God of Israel, chose me from my whole family to be king over Israel forever. He chose Judah as leader, and from the tribe of Judah he chose my family, and from my father's sons he was pleased to make me king over all of Israel." Verse 5. All my sons, and the Lord has given me many, he has chosen my son Solomon to sit on the throne of the kingdom of the Lord of Israel, Lord over Israel. He said to me, "Solomon, your son, is the one who will build my house and my courts. For I have chosen him to be my son, and I will be his father. I will establish his kingdom forever if he is unswerving in carrying out my commands and laws, as is being done at this time. So now I charge you in the sight of all Israel and the assembly of the Lord, and in the hearing of our God, be careful to follow all the commands of the Lord your God, that you may possess this good land and pass it on as an inheritance or a legacy to your descendants forever. And you, my son Solomon, acknowledge the God of your father and serve him with wholehearted devotion and with a willing mind. For the Lord searches every heart and understands every desire and every thought. If you seek him, he will be found by you. But if you forsake him, he will reject you forever. Consider now, for the Lord has chosen you to build a house as the sanctuary. Be strong and do the work." Turn to your neighbor and say, "Do the work." David wanted to build something for God, but instead he built something in his son. I'm gonna let that marinate for a second. David wanted to build something for God. David said, "Man, God, you have given me you look at all the things that you've given me." In 2 Samuel 7, you see a little glimpse of David reflecting. I'm thinking David is probably in his late 40s or early 50s, and he's reflecting. And he's saying, "God, I want to build your house. You're over there dwelling in the tent of meeting, but I want you to have a house. Look at all that you've done for me. And this isn't right." And God, I believe, says, "Thank you, David, but you've shed blood, and you've did some things with Bathsheba, and you had some other things that went on that I can't endorse what I actually have placed in your heart, but what I can endorse is me and you transferring that to your son." So this window, when David is listening and getting insight into what God really wants him to do, he then turns to his son Solomon. And I love his response. Of all my sons, Solomon, you have been chosen to establish this. You have been chosen to sit on the throne of kingdom of the Lord of Israel. And you are the one who will build the house. He set aside finances. He prepared leaders. But most importantly, he taught Solomon who God was. And I believe that is what inspired Solomon to write Psalms 127:1 that says, unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. And my encouragement to you today is, unless the Lord is a part of building your legacy, what you build or what you aspire to build will be in vain. You know, my wife and I are in the process of trying to do some renovations for our house, and especially because we had the number 3, Ethan, who was a surprise. And so we had to make room in the house. We ain't buying another house. We're gonna make room, and so we're in the middle of trying to remodel our house. We met with contractor after contractor and builders and things of nature, and it was hard to find someone we trusted. And it hit me. Legacy is just like that. Building a legacy takes trust. It takes trust. Because here's the deal. How many licensed builders we got in the room today? Exactly. None of us are really qualified to build. None of us really have the qualifications or the experience of doing the work of building a house or building those things. You and I aren't the builder, and in the same way, you and I aren't the builder of our legacy, but God is the builder. You see, legacy is not about building something for God. It's about God building something in us that lasts. And if we listen to the builder and we trust in the builder, we will have a legacy that lasts. It's interesting. Uh, the legacy that David wanted to have in this big temple and to pass down to his son, that particular temple eventually got destroyed. So that is another illustration that legacies that are grounded in things or possessions won't last. But God never meant to live in a building forever. God said, this is not where I really want to dwell, David and Solomon. Now here's the deal. I place it in your heart, David, and I've given you instructions to pass it down to your son to build, but I want to dwell in you. God has meant to dwell in us. And the reality of it is building something that lasts respond or requires us to listen to the voice of God. Once David listened and got the instructions, then he was able to respond and share a really good verse. Again, in 1 Chronicles 28, verse 20, David said to Solomon, be strong and courageous and do the work. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord God is with you. I believe that legacy isn't just about leaving things for your family members or for your congregation. I think that's a part of it, but I believe that true legacy is about knowing God. If you know God, then I believe it is your responsibility and duty to share that with everybody you come in contact with. If we want to build a legacy that lasts, we have to trust the builder. And that's why Solomon not only said that if we labor or if we want to build, we have to trust God. Otherwise, we labor in vain. But he also says in Proverbs 3 5 and 6, to trust God with all of our heart and lean not on our own understanding. And in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct our path. That verse is something that I never really thought about in the context of legacy until recently. And recently I've been trying to find ways to instill the legacy of knowing God in my 10-year-old, who's about to be 11-year-old Luke, and sharing with him honest, stories about how God has, saved me, delivered me. How when during COVID, we were before we moved to Portsmouth, we had a Chick-fil-A in Charlottesville, Virginia. It was located inside of a mall. And during that time frame, the governor said, "Hey, anybody that's in or any restaurants that don't have a drive-through, you have to close it." And I mean, that was our primary income, and it was already a much lower volume restaurant because people don't go to malls no more. People go to Amazon. People shop online, and I get it. I totally get it now. But at that time, we was like, man, what are we gonna do? And I had to tell my son, I said, Luke, we had to trust God. We had to trust God, not lean to our own understanding, and say, God, what is it that you have for us? And that was when I really believe the Lord spoke to my wife and said, and that's a funny thing too. Sometimes God won't talk to you. And that requires listening. It requires listening. Going back to David listened to Nathan, his prophet, when the Lord told him that he wasn't going to be the one to build, and he had to respond to that. You know, uh, I was listening, or Erica and I, my wife and I, both were listening, not necessarily in a moment of prayer or anything like that, but God spoke to us in a still, quiet voice and said, "I want you to start a drive-through at your mall." Now, I don't know if you've ever been to a normal drive-through Chick-fil-A, but in a mall location, you don't have an actual drive-through. We had to. It's interesting. I think about how God gave David and even Noah and even just certain people very specific instructions on what to build. And because we trusted the builder, God gave us very specific instructions on how to construct to some degree or makeshift a drive-through at our mall location. That way, we were not able or did not even have to close at all. Chick-fil-A called me and said, "Hey, Will, we understand you got to close, and we want to make sure you're doing okay." I said, "I'm not closing." They said, "What do you mean?" I said, "We starting a drive-through." Well, how are you doing that? I don't know yet, but I'm listening to God and to my wife. And lo and behold, Erica had experience in some IT work, and she was able to get a certain router and all these cables. We set up a tent outside, or two tents, one for order taking and then one for meal delivery. And we had cars lining up against the curb, or the curb in our mall, and nobody was at the mall, so we had the whole parking lot to our disposal, and we were able matter of fact, this is a funny thing. We started doing more sales in the drive-through than we were doing before COVID, before we closed the mall. You got to trust the builder and lean not on your own understanding. So to have a legacy that lasts, I want to encourage you. Stop trying to do the work in your own strength. You can't do it. Otherwise, you will labor in vain. Let's be like David, setting up our children and our nieces and nephews and the people that we're inspiring or influencing to not just have the material possessions and things that it may take to actually uh, build something, but to know God. Let's teach them who God is. Let's teach them the obedience is better than the hustle, and that character outlasts capital. May we listen and trust the builder of our legacy, and may we seek wisdom in all thy seek and get understanding. so that the work he calls us to do and instructs us to do, making disciples, starting in our homes. 'Cause that's the thing, talking about rebuilding and having the recaptivating the families in the Christian church today. We got to start discipling at home first, starting with our own hearts, starting with our kids, our spouses, our neighbors, our coworkers, so that the work that we do and the things that he's called us to do won't be in vain. May I encourage you one more time, be strong as David encouraged Solomon. Be courageous. Trust the Lord with all your heart and acknowledge him so that he can direct you as you do the work. Trust the builder, seek wisdom, and pass the knowledge of God. Thank you.
Come on, y'all can do better than that. I hope y'all were listening. That there is no secret to what God can do, and that you have to learn how to trust the builder. You can't help what life brings you, but if you trust the builder and acknowledge him, he'll make a pathway out of a desert. He'll make a pathway in a jungle. When COVID arose, some of you all didn't know how you were going to make it, but look at you now. You are a living testimony that our God is able. And we have a legacy of faith. Didn't always have all the money, didn't always have all the cars. But the songwriter said, we come this far by faith. And today's altar call is a little different today because we have to deal with what is realistic in our lives as men and women. We have family members. Oh, yeah, we doing that today. That today you're going to stand in the gap for a family member that should be here right now. This has nothing to do with who's in charge or who's making the dinner or nothing. But we have a legacy responsibility to tell our young adults, some of our adults, folk that you saw at the family reunion this year. I got a question for you. Did Jesus come up into the conversation? Did you have an opportunity to remind them that the same God that brought grandmama and great grandma through, the same God that brought granddaddy and great granddaddy through, is the same God that is able to see them through it? So today is the day. Come on. You're going to stand in the gap for your family member, for that young person. Come on. Today's the day. We're going to do this today. We're going to do this today. And nobody wants to get up because we want to act like everybody in our family is doing just fine. But that's not true. And you're lying in church. You know the name. You know where they are. You know what they're doing. We're going to call the devil a liar for who he is because the legacy is being lost because we won't get up and say anything. Today, we're reclaiming back lost legacies, coach. This is what the men and the women of the body of Christ are supposed to do. We have family members that are lost because we built our house on things. We thought it was more important to move to the suburbs than it is to tell them about Jesus. See, the thing is that God's going to provide no matter where you are. I see you, young brother. Where my missionaries at? This is the moment. This is it. This is it. You need to be in your place. I need you. Today's your day. Reclaim them. If they are not here and you can't put your hands on them, you need to be down here standing in the gap for them. If they've given their life to Christ, but you have not seen them because they're still in the world, you need to be down here right now. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. I need you to survive. It is His will that every need be supplied. Brothers, if there's a man that you know, if there's a man that you know that's a friend of yours, I want you to come and stand in the gap for him today. You've been trying to get them and they won't come. Come and stand in the gap for them today. Ladies, if there's a young lady that you see every day, that you talk to them, but it just, they won't grab home to it, I want you to stand in the gap for them today. I need you to survive. I pray for you. You pray for me. I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I need you to survive. I need you need. We're all part of God's lives. Stand with me. Agree with me. I need to survive. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are to me. I need to survive. I need you need. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with, agree with. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every aside. You are poured unto me. I need you to survive. I pray for you. You pray for me. I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I need you to survive. I pray for you. You pray for me. I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I need you to survive. I pray for you. You pray for me. I need you to.
Welcome to the July 2025 edition of the Epistle, our monthly source of encouragement, updates, and spiritual growth. This month, we shine a light on Alzheimer's awareness. As we support families and caregivers walking through this journey, we hold fast to the comforting words of Isaiah chapter 46 verse 4. Even to your old age and gray hairs I am He who will sustain you. I have made you and I will carry you. I will sustain you and I will rescue you. This scripture reminds us that God's care doesn't fade with time, it deepens. In every stage of life, He is faithful. In this edition, you'll find highlights from our Men's and Women's Day celebration, a powerful weekend of worship, fellowship, and community recognition. Hear testimonies of spiritual growth, see snapshots from the service, and read reflections from both ministry leaders and first-time attendees. We also feature an overview of our leadership training sessions, where current and future leaders are being equipped to serve with excellence and humility. You'll discover key takeaways from our workshops, including biblical leadership models, conflict resolution strategies, and vision casting. And don't miss the latest on the 2050 Project, our long-term initiative to grow our ministry's impact in the community. From infrastructure planning to youth outreach goals, we're building something that will bless generations to come. Plus, there's so much more: community updates, spiritual devotionals, and upcoming ministry opportunities you won't want to miss. As you read, reflect, and share this month's epistle, remember, you are not alone. Whether you're leading, learning, or simply leaning on grace to get through the day, God is with you, and we're walking this journey together. Stay encouraged, stay connected, and may this edition bring you blessings and joy.